boy, what if every single thing that you prayed for, you desired, you wanted, came into fruition right now? How would you act? Well, this was a question that my pops would always ask me as a kid and even into adulthood when I would come to him and I was stressed out or I, was fearful of something or I was just like, oh, so tired. God, Pops, this got to happen. And he would ask me, he would say, what if everything you desired and you prayed for or even just wanted, what if every single thing came into fruition right now and you were sitting in it and you had every single result that you could ever imagine? How would you act then, son? My question or my answer was pretty simple. I was like, well, I'd just be happy and joyful and, relaxed and peaceful. And I would say all these things like, is this what you want to hear, Pop? And he would just look at me and then he wouldn't say anything and he'd just move on to another subject. And it got me thinking because he wasn't trying to teach me the lesson. He understood this and he was probably one of the wisest guys I've ever met in my life. And it was a lesson that the things that I need to learn will be caught. They won't be taught. And once I realized that, I realized that sitting down with my son and teaching him a lesson and showing him this and showing him that, he was going to catch what I did. He wasn't going to be taught it. It would be caught and not taught. When I try and teach him, drill it in, that's not the things that we remember. It's the times that somebody's watching you and says, oh, I pick up on that little bit. And I picked up on that from my pop in saying that, like, he would always follow up afterwards and he would always tell me that even when you can't see it, son, God is working on your behalf. And so the thing that I want to encourage you today is wherever you're at, whatever desire you have, whatever prayer you have, God is working on your behalf right now, and especially when you can't see it. And that's the hardest time for us to be able to accept it, is when we can't see any of the progress. We can't see any of the stuff. But I tell you, the foundational parts of anything are the parts that you won't see that are deep and dark and they're the place, but it's laying the foundation. And those are the parts that a lot of times you can't beat your chest about or celebrate at the highest. But I can tell you this, and what I learned through my pop, or I caught it, was that he's working even if you don't see it. And in Proverbs 14 today, he calls out to all of us to release all the stuff that we're trying to hold on to and just simply focus on him, because he's working on our behalf. And if we simply focus on him, he'll provide all of it. But he wants us to be joyful right now. And joy is not happiness. Happiness is circumstantial. Joy is falling in love with your current circumstances and allowing the magic to happen around you. Because if he's working on your behalf, even when you can't see it, it'll be unreal, the results that you'll see down the road. But if we are stressed and we got all these thoughts in our head, we'll have the tendency to waste the moment that we're sitting in right now. So I'm excited about Inchstones, so why don't we get this party started?
Nothing more on my mind. I got two shines, so every day I climb. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
If you have seen that commercial, it is the Vibe Room. It's a live version of the podcast. And so if you're tuning into the podcast for the first time, this is an episode of Inchstones. What we do is we go through the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day and see how 3,000-year-old wisdom can be applicable in today's society. And I got the chance to give the business to International Christian Film Festival. We finished it out, and I let them know that Steven Spielberg, Francis Ford Coppola, and George Lucas had all been interviewed, and then it was summarized by Quentin Tarantino. You can imagine this interview. And then I went through and I told them all the points, and I got down to the end, and I said the one thing that I didn't tell you was it wasn't all those directors and Quentin Tarantino wrapping it up. It was actually Proverbs 12, and it was written 3,000 years ago, but all those principles would apply, and all of them wrote things down. And it's amazing, though, because sometimes when we package it a little bit different, then people will accept it different because of third-party credibility. And that third-party credibility is, I tell you, is so very, very, very incredibly powerful. So with that being said, we want to hop into Proverbs 14 and, a couple station identification things. If you don't have the book, it's The Vibe. Check it out on Amazon. Click the link in the bio. You can check that out. It talks about the missing ingredient that powers everything. And when you think about your business, your culture, your process and procedure, or your systems, your productivity, your innovation, and your ability to adapt immediately, those things are the components in your business, but none of them will happen until they're powered by the vibe, and this gives you the blueprint for it. I got a chance to read it or write it. It's about 117 pages. It'll help you out in your business and in your life and your relationships. You can check that out. And then Bling Shine Serum, the #1 seller in all of our company when we had our salons, and it outsold any product that we had by 8 times. It adds moisture, strength, and shine, and smells like vacation, and every woman needs a little bling in their life. It doesn't ever replace anything. It just enhances everything. The only bad thing about bling is you can't use that you can't use too much. When I said this like to a woman, she's like, well, that doesn't sound that bad. And I said, it is when people can overuse it, but it will not weigh your hair down. It won't have any adverse effects except you just wasting the product. So a good thing is you can't use too much. A bad thing is you can't use too much. So it's been amazing. Bling Shine Serum. You'll love it. You can click the link and you can do that. And also you could get tickets to the Vibe Room. We've recorded 3 episodes today, and literally the Vibe Room will be sold out by tonight. So check your tickets. Salt Lake City, and it is at the Edison House in Salt Lake City. It is going to be unreal on November 9th. We've got some phenomenal people that I'm interviewing. We've got a great musical artist, Curtis Nieder. And, but the biggest thing, guys, is the room itself. You're going to be sitting next to someone in that room that can literally change your life in an instant. But it's probably I think this is the coolest event in all of Salt Lake City. And so I think that's a good thing. So as we hop into this, as far as Inchstones and Proverbs 14, is that God is working even when you can't see it. Even when you can't see him working, he's working. And if we can just free ourselves up to just focus on him, like just focus on him, like give him everything. It doesn't mean that you don't work hard. It just means that he wants you to focus on what it is that you're doing right now and be the absolute best at it. I learned this morning because I was shaving. And if you've ever shaved with the actual straight razor, you have to be focused. You can't just, when you have like the Schick with 17 blades on it and the little moisture strip and all these things on it, you could just run through that fast. But when you're doing a straight razor and you're putting that bad boy to your neck, you got to have the angle right. You got to have the right stroke to it. The whole 9, you got to be focused. And I was focused today as I was doing it. What God was telling me is, I need you focused exactly where you're at right now. And when that happens, I'll take care of all the rest. I'll do all the work even when you can't see me working. But I need you focused on this. And how will I know what to focus on that day? And he said, just ask me, because I'll tell you. And then when I tell you, then just do it, and do it at the best of the ability. So that way, if you're at work, be the best at work. If you're at home, be the best at home. If you're on a date with your wife, be the best there, and be focused as much as possible. It's not about balancing all the stuff. It's about being focused 100% wherever you're at. And in Proverbs 14, it calls out to us to release even the little things to him and focus on him, and he will deliver always. And he wants us to release, right? Release to him. And this is probably one of the hardest things in the world because we want to grab a hold of it. But imagine if we just release it, said, here's my will. I want you to bless it. I want you to stop it. Whatever it is, I'm going to give it to you. it's amazing because he doesn't take anything away. He just continues to give you more and more and more and more as long as you're willing to give it away. And so in verse 1, 14, 24, and 34, work and build while no one is looking. Work and build while no one is looking. This is probably one of the toughest things to do because in today's society, we want to shout it out at the highest level. We want to beat our chest. This is what I've done. This is my new house. This is my new car. This is all the things. And we want to post it. And if it didn't get posted, it didn't actually happen. But work and build while no one else is looking. Every single successful person that's sustainable that I've ever seen, my brother, Rob, Cardenas Law Group. If you're in Las Vegas and you're in an accident, you need to check out Rob Cardenas. I mean, he is unbelievable, Cardenas Law Group. But the reason why is because he worked and built while nobody else was watching. And all the things that he did and all the integrity that he had, he built himself and built his firm and built his people, and the people built the business while nobody else was looking. Now that people are looking and he's getting some notoriety, they're saying, wow, what is that? How could I do it? Because I did the work and built while no one else was looking. And I want to congratulate you, Rob, on doing that. You're an incredible human. In verse 2, 16, 25, and 26, and 32, your level of respect will reflect in your steps. Your level of respect will reflect in your steps. And also, too, who you respect or what you respect will reflect in your steps. And so when you look at this, like, whatever my actions are, it is just a reflection, like my steps are a reflection of the level of respect that I have for what I say that I believe in. Now, if I'm doing something and I'm out of line with what I believe in, I don't really respect it at that level. And it was hard hitting in this because God was asking me, like, who do you really respect? And your level of respect will reflect in your steps. Are you willing to just focus on me and focus on the thing that I have you to focus on right now and let me work even when you don't see me working, even when you're not seeing the results? Well, I can tell you that a lot of times I don't. A lot of times I want to take control of it. I want to multitask. I want to do all these things. And he's saying, no. I just need a singular focus. I need you to focus on me. Then I'll give you an assignment. And with that assignment, I want you to be the best you possibly can at that thing. If I ask you to be a dad right now, just be a dad. I'm supposed to be on a cruise right now in Europe, a large company, Sport Clips. I love you guys. The CEO or the president and CEO reached out to me and said, hey, I would like you to come on this trip with us. And, the whole company, they're celebrating 30 years. And it was a incredible cruise through Europe, Portugal, all these things. And what God was saying to me is like, I looked at the date and the date was in conflict with my daughter's performance. And so he said, I want you to be dad. And, right. Now the side of it of like, I'm holier than thou. I chose my daughter. No, I'm saying like, this is an incredible opportunity, a 30-year anniversary with $1 billion company that hired me in last year to do their keynote for their biggest gathering, 3,500 people. And God wants me to focus in on being a dad as opposed to that. And I focused in on it, and I still haven't seen the results from it, but it's what he told me to do. And so what I want to do is I want to tell every one of you is just do what God tells you to do right now. Don't worry about all the rest of this stuff. In verse 3, 7, 30, and 33, when you work on your heart, you won't have to watch your mouth. Because your heart, once it's filled up and it overflows, it comes out your mouth. So your words are an overflow of your heart. If you work on what you place into your heart, you won't have to watch your mouth. There's a lot of times where I have to watch my mouth. Just last week, I failed huge as a dad and as a coach, and I yelled at another coach, and I got very angry, got very heated, and I tried to justify myself. But I had to look at it too. My words were an overflow of my heart. So although I thought, hey, I'm doing all these things, I'm reading the word. Well, I guess that word wasn't penetrating and being in my heart because I seriously wanted to choke somebody out. When you work on your heart, you won't have to watch your mouth. Verse 4, 5, 9, 19, and 35 said that dirty work produces clean results. Dirty work produces clean results. Chew on that for a little bit. I had to chew on it. I was like, man, I don't want to always have to do the dirty work, but think about it in reverse. Think about that in reverse, because a lot of times I want to make sure that, oh, no, I just want to do the smooth, the cool, where, no, you need to get in it. You need to get dirty. And when you get dirty, you'll be prepared. I look at my brother Rob. I look at my brother Guy. Both of them did the dirty work. My brother Guy went to medical school in Kentucky, had his third daughter while he was in medical school, went on welfare with his family to be able to make it through, but now is enjoying the spoils. The dirty work produced clean results. In verse 6, 12, 23, things come easy to those who work hard. That's pretty self-explanatory. Verse 8, 15, 17, 18, 22, and 29, stop long enough to think about the next 10 steps. In verse 10, your joy is personal. Others can be inspired by it, but can never possess it. Let me say it again. Your joy is personal. Others can be inspired by it, but can never possess it. The reason why I say this is because your joy is falling in love with your current circumstance and allowing magic to happen around you. But a lot of times when we become joyful, we think that somebody else should be joyful also. Well, they can't possess your joy. They can't possess your joy. They can be inspired by it, but it goes back to the fact that lessons are caught, not taught. People can catch it if you're joyful about your experiences. That light will be, we talked about it last episode where, freedom produces light. That light can inspire so many people. But if we try and take that joy and we try and say, no, you need to have it too. And this is what happened to me so many times. I'm experiencing this, therefore you need to experience it too. And if we have ever had a friend like that, or a friend that tried to do that, it actually causes more harm than good. In verse 11, a little with God is better than an abundance of trash. Verse 13, a smooth road generally has very little reward. In verse 20 through 21, 28, and 31, treat people according to the way that God sees them. This is a direct command. It's not a command from me, but he said it in verse 20 and 21, and then followed up in 28 and 31. Treat people according to the way that he sees them. This is a direct command. This is not like a negotiable, whatever it is. He's saying, no, treat my people the way that I see them. And he built them perfect. They're exactly where they need to be at the exact time. So treat them that way. In verse 25, as we finish up today, a truthful witness saves lives. A truthful witness saves lives. And are you truthful? Are you truthful about the blessings that you have? Are you truthful about the fact that God, whether you see him or not, God is working on your behalf? Are you truthful about that? You see, when I looked at this today, it was overwhelming and daunting because, you look at it, there's 11 points, and I'll hit them really quick for you as we go through because I want to make sure, James or Jimmy, that I stay within the 20 minutes that he told me that I needed to for his family, because that's how he could, they would pay attention with him for. Work hard and build when no one is looking. Your level of respect will reflect your steps. When you work on your heart, you don't have to watch your mouth. Dirty work produces clean results. Things come easy to those who work hard. Stop long enough to think about the next 10 steps. Your joy is personal. Others can be inspired by it, but can never possess it. A little with God is better than abundance of trash. A smooth road generally has very little reward. Treat people according to the way that God sees them. This is a direct command, and a truthful witness saves lives. When I looked at that, I was like, man, that's kind of daunting. But what God was saying is, what if? And I want to read this quote to you that he had talked about. Is, well, first of all, it was like, Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all else will be added on. All else will be added on. And imagine this. Imagine if God is just working, like giving you circumstances, giving you things to work the muscle of you being able to give it away. And the stronger and stronger that muscle is, the stronger your freedom will be, and the more that you'll realize in your life that he's working on your behalf. And it's just a constant reminder to me to just pause and rest easy. Because in Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all else will be added on. My pops would consistently remind me of that. And then he would tell me to rest easy and encourage me that God was at work, even when I couldn't see it. And I want to encourage you in those words today. Proverbs 14, the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day. This has been Inchstones. If you're not coming to the Vibe Room, then come next time. But I want to tell you how much I appreciate each and every one of you guys listening. Stacy, I appreciate you. Ashley, we're listener supported. And Ashley, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I appreciate you at the highest level. Andrea Williams, you're incredible. James Dixon, Jimmy Barbour, and your whole entire family. Ellie, I know you're out there listening too. And my name is Kelly Cardenas. This has been Inchstones, the corresponding proverb, corresponding day, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Nothing more on my mind. I got two shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised.